Scott was virtually unstoppable, winning 6 championships. But one day, Mark Allen found himself right beside him.
We met very early on. I think '82 was the first time that we had met.
We were together through the turnaround of the bike, and so I went up to him and I go, hey Dave, when we're done with the bike, you want to go for a run? He looks at me and he goes, who are you? You know, and I said, well, Mark Allen, and he stopped talking, conversation was over, clicked his bike into a big gear and took off, and he won his second title that year. I didn't cross the finish line, but, you know, the dream was born that, you know, here I was with the best in the world for 4 hours of the race. Maybe, just maybe, I can be the champion someday.
I won in '82, '83, '84, won in '86 and '87. And I wanted to keep that title, so in 1989 we met for our big battle. The morning of the race, my plan was just to go out as hard as I possibly could, no different than the previous years, but I knew that he was going to be ready this year.
I had seen 6 times that I didn't know how to pace this race. He had won the race 6 times coming into it. He clearly knew how to pace it.
I liked to dictate the race. I liked to mentally feel as though I was in charge of the race. And if Mark wanted to sit behind me, so be it.
So in '89, I stayed with him the entire way on the swim. I stayed with him on the bike ride. I shadowed him the whole way. I thought, you know what? You're on such a fine line that an inch lost or a second lost can be a race lost.
But it's going to come down to the marathon. And I just thought, well, I'll just do these little surges and it'll be fine.
He was setting a pace that was absolutely blistering. The miles just kept going, and it was clear that neither of us was able to do anything to break the other one. And so it was just going to be a foot race, and I didn't know how long that foot race was going to last. There was like this silence. The only sound that was happening was our feet hitting the ground.
We were both feeling the wear and tear, and I looked at the 24-mile mark on the side, looked up at the top of Palani Hill, and said, it's coming up. I'm going to make my move. And right at that moment, Mark made his move.
Something just said, go. And it was like I was shot out of a cannon. I started to sprint, you know, as best as you can sprint at the end of an Ironman. I looked back, I couldn't see him. I stopped and I go, yes, I knew it.
I knew at that point it was over with.
I would have never had that race had I not been side by side with Dave Scott. You know, he taught me so much that year about pacing it and how to race it and how to stay confident in the midst of impossible moments.
Mark Allen and I came along at an unusual time in history, early history of the sport, and we collided at all these races in the '80s, and then in '89 we had this epic duel, and I thought, well, you know, maybe we'll meet again, and it never happened.
There has never been another race that has come close to matching what the two of us did together out there, and how each of us propelled the other one to such an incredible performance.